Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday night. We're here. United has a point. Hooray! I got a point. Sorry we're late. We had some technical issues. We had some real life things, so we're 2 minutes late. But we are here. It's Tuesday. We got some things to talk about. So welcome back, guys. Welcome back. We are United Front. It is Tuesday. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Joining me this evening, we have Jacob. We have Christina. And guys, we have some interesting things to talk about this week. First of all, Premier League is back. There we go. Jacob, how'd the Spurs do?
3-0 win.
Oh, very well, very well.
Nice.
It was against Burnley, who very well might be the worst team in the league, but it was still a 3-0 win.
There you go. Hey, Christina, did you spend any time watching Premier League or anything else this weekend?
Did I? No, I spent my time cleaning and organizing. Boring stuff. I would have much rather been watching footy.
Hey, you know what? I did some cleaning as well. I found a TikTok video about cleaning. Somehow I got on a cleaning TikTok and I found like some concoction to clean. I was like, holy crap, this works. I tried it. It worked. I'm like, okay, sweet.
God, we're old.
Yeah, we are old. I called my mom. I called my mom's on Friday night and I said, hey, yeah, I saw this thing. They're like, what are you up to? I said, oh, I'm cleaning. They're like, you're cleaning your, I'm like, what are you cleaning? I said, I'm scrubbing my shower. They're like, you're old. My parents said this to me on Friday night. But yeah, no, it's, you find something that works, you get excited because, clean home, right? That's something we all strive for. And with kids, we all know how hard it is to keep things clean. So excited.
Well, I had a firm deadline because I had to get to the stadium in time for gates open because I wanted that Zozobra gear.
Did you get it?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I was one of the lucky few.
Where's it at?
Oh, do you guys want to see it? Here, I'll
Yeah.
go grab it.
Yeah. I got there. Obviously, we get in a little bit early because media. They didn't even have the Zozobra dolls out.
No,
They didn't have them. They didn't even have the boxes out by the media entrance when I got there. So unfortunately, I did not get one. I was talking to Carlos. There it is. That's actually pretty cool.
I'm blurred.
it's like blurring it out.
I don't know how to change that, but
That's
he's
pretty
cool.
big.
Yeah.
It is. It's pretty heavy. Yeah,
Nice.
not bad.
Very cool. Yeah,
I
I was there, and that's very cool that you got it.
My sister was telling me, my niece was sitting at the bar, I guess during halftime, and somebody up in the club level, and somebody asked if she got a Zobra, and she said yes, and he offered her $100 for it.
Wow.
But she said, nope, I want him on my desk. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him pop up on eBay or something.
Yeah, that Facebook Marketplace, yeah, something. That's
Yeah.
those are neat though. I haven't seen any other club do something like that, at least not at this level. But yeah, I was talking to Carlos. Every single one of those was given out within 17 minutes.
Like that lickety split.
That's how long those lasted as people came into the gates.
Well,
Then they
and
switched over to
people were
sunglasses.
lined up for an hour before gates opened.
Yes, yeah. When I got there, I got to Sabe at 5, and there was already a line circulating not only down the home plate entrance. I didn't look down third base, but down the home plate entrance and also down the first base entrance as well. So people were lined up ready for these things, and ended up being a phenomenal crowd. 11,581 on Saturday, which was
On the broadcast, they said people were lining up at 2:00 in the afternoon.
I
Oh.
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, even earlier than I realized. Well, 1,500 of them out in 15 minutes. 100 Zozobras in a minute.
Yeah, no, really cool thing that the club did. I really like them. I wish I had been able to get my hands on one of them, but yeah, talking to Carlos, he's obviously working with the club now, so he was up in the press box on Saturday for much of it. So he and I were having some conversations and got to meet new communications director Delmy Burias. Delmy's super nice. Can't wait to spend some more time working with her. Had a long chat with her, introduced myself, and so yeah, as soon as we can get you guys out there, we'll get you guys introduced to Delmy as well, and I think there's going to be some good things coming with Delmy leading the communications department there for New Mexico United. So, yeah, it was a fun weekend. A lot of great things going on. A lot of fun stuff. Obviously, sports are coming back. Preseason football's almost in the rear view. We got soccer season kicking up. We got all sorts of things. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, no news is good news sometimes, right? New Mexico United still has not announced the departure of Fernando, despite Pete going on 1017 the team last Tuesday and announcing that he had been sold to Vietnam. I did link you guys an article that had been put in the Discord. About a rumored spot where Fernando is landing. And let me double check this. And this website that I sent you guys is awful, but like the number of ads
advertisements galore.
Yes, the number of ads and things on this website. danviet.vn is reporting or has reported that sources are saying that Fernando will be landing at Hanoi FC. But again, this has not been confirmed. Okay. I want to point out this has not been confirmed. This is still just rumored. Okay. We do know he's going to Vietnam. We don't know what club. Okay.
Mhm.
We know that much. In talking to Ron and Pete on Saturday, the club is still awaiting confirmation from league and federation that the transfer is complete and approved. But
All the red tape.
all the red tape is done.
I feel like I saw, I don't know if it was Instagram or Blue Sky. I don't remember who said it, but somebody said there was another ex-United player.
Kyle Colonna is playing in Vietnam as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if he still is, but he was listed on another team. Viet, where is it? I'm pretty sure I sent it to you guys. Anyway, we'll find it. Is he on Hanoi?
He's on Hanoi.
I thought it was a different. Again, it's all the club names not being familiar with it. But yeah, he was listed on their roster as of last season. I don't know if he's still playing or not. But Kyle Colonna, former United player, was over in Vietnam as well. So, and I know Fernando has announced that he's leaving, and apparently he put it out on social media. From talking to Pete, that was out there as well. So, it's all but a done deal. We're just waiting on all the approvals before the club can officially announce it. But that is coming. Harry, how you doing, buddy? How are you feeling after your surgery? I know you gave us an update last week. How you feeling? At least you guys got some good news. You got Santiago Patino back, so good news for San Antonio.
I saw that San Antonio's pitch is going to be painted red, perhaps.
Jacob's trying to get someone benched. I mean, maybe. Wheeling and dealing over there on the phone.
Yeah, it's been an evening. It's been a day already. So, no, I'm not trying to get anybody. If anybody, I'd be trying to get. Actually, no.
Now, come to think of it.
No, everybody that's been playing has been fine.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I mean, Gideon Zavala, maybe not, but I think he was better on Saturday, but we'll get to that here in just a minute. But yeah, when it comes, so this is something that came up across social media, particularly in the Discord and other places. A lot of discourse about the rumored transfers and things of that nature. And I do want to address this. Like we've talked about on the show, we speculate on things. Okay, there are many times where we do not know what's going on. There are times where we do know what's going on, where we hear things, we have it confirmed by people at the club, but until we have the go-ahead from one of three people, basically, Ron, Pete, or Delmy, we will not go forward with it. Okay? When something comes out like the Fernando transfer, many people heard about it, either through Discord, at watch parties, whatever the case is, prior to any sort of confirmation from a named club official, right? The information came out from someone that should not have put the information out. And the manner and timing of it getting out, from what I understand, was prior to other individuals at the club knowing about it. So I tried to address this in the Discord. And it was brought up that someone said that I was trying it's a quote unquote the media. So we're upset because the media got scooped. We're not upset that we got scooped. And to be fair, I don't think we did get scooped because we heard about it very early on, right?
Mhm.
But we will not run with things because we've developed a relationship with the club that we're not going to jeopardize by putting out information that we do not have confirmation on. Now, even with the announcement that Pete made last week, we didn't know where he was going. I mean, obviously, lots of speculation that he was going to Hanoi because Kyle Colonna was there. But again, that is still not confirmed. It's still just rumor. So when it comes to things of this nature, anyone from the club that is putting out information that is not the people I mentioned already, take it with a grain of salt until you hear it from an official news outlet or from the club's official channels. And like I said, I had a conversation over the weekend. I said, yeah, we hear things. We talk about things. I said, there have certainly been things that we've known about, but we didn't put out there. And we've treated it as speculation because we were waiting for the go-ahead. And Jacob, we've done it in the past, when the club was announcing signings, when they did the hints and things like, we tried to figure things out and we'd reach out to people and either get confirmation or not. But even with that, we wouldn't go out with it until, and we just, oh, maybe it's so-and-so, or maybe so, until we had the official news. So just take it with a grain of salt. Like, yes, rumors are going to happen. We see it a lot more with bigger leagues such as Premier League and MLS, because you have, I think you have more people who are willing to talk off the record, or at least in an anonymous sense, than what you see here. And the USL as a whole is not very transparent when it comes to things such as player salaries and transfers.
What? Really?
Yeah, really. So, and we can make an educated guess on certain things based off the information that we know. But yeah, don't be like, again, just treat everything worth a grain of salt until you hear it confirmed. Okay? Because the news about Fernando that came out could have been entirely wrong, for all we know. And I said in Discord, yes, it turns out that what the person said was correct, but they also, and the fact that he was leaving, I believe they gave 2 different potential destinations, if I remember correctly. So again, it's not 100% information. It's not 100% factual. So again, just, be aware. Okay. Like, and, we will, if you come to us asking us, we're not going to give out any information that we have. We're not. So I just want to address that. I mean, do you guys have anything further on the rumors, the speculation, potential signings coming in? I don't know if you guys heard the post-match audio after the match on Saturday, where I asked Coach about transfers.
Did you send it to us?
It was in the Discord.
Which Jacob is not in.
Then no,
I
I have
saw
not
that
heard
you-
it.
I saw you posted it and then I forgot, so I haven't listened to it yet.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll put those in here so you guys can hear those. If we trust the club for details, we would think the team is completely uninjured besides Bruce. So, I mean, I
Sure.
get that. I get that. But at the same time, the club, there are a number of different reasons. So obviously, Maple's having the knock prior to the match on Saturday. I found that out in the pre-match on Saturday. It's not significant enough to keep him out of the match, right? So they're not going to put him on the injury report. Ryden's on the mend. Ryden could be a week away, could be 2 weeks away. He's close. So they didn't put him on the injury report because he was training with the first team this past week. So minor knocks they're not going to put on there unless it's something that's going to completely keep them out of the match entirely. And then
we've seen
healthy scratches.
We've seen players that are injured miss multiple weeks and never be on the injury report,
Oh,
or not be on the
mhm.
injury report until the very end. So
well, and in the case of Hurst and Rivas, as Justin's pointing out, they were considered week to week or day to day. Like they weren't considered serious injuries. Well, I think that Hurst was because he had surgery, but he was put on the injury report.
eventually, after he had missed like 3 weeks already.
Yeah, because they didn't think it was going, because the thing with Hurst is they didn't think it was that serious to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why Hurst wasn't on the injury report to start with. Sergio, I mean, Sergio's been hurt off and on for the past year and a half. We all know he had surgery in the offseason too. So Sergio dealing with injury this season and potential, there's a potential for re-aggravating those things. So he may be off at times. So, but again, and even then it may just be precautionary. It may not even be an injury thing. So there's lots of reasons for them to not be on the injury report. And, that's why we do ask. That's why we ask the status. That's why I asked the status of Kalen. And Kalen is due back at any point. Maples was due to a knock earlier in the week, so he only missed half the match.
Tim Bacchus, on the other hand, not dealing with a knock.
Not an injury.
Not an injury. Mhm.
So I put that out in the Discord. I texted to you guys.
DNP coach's decision, huh? DNP did not play.
Did not play. So I asked Coach about that after the match on Saturday. We asked Will about it as well. And apparently there's been a bit of competition in practice, according to both Coach and Will. And Coach has been leaning towards giving the nod to Chris and giving him an opportunity to show what he can do in match day scenarios. So that's why Alex has not been playing. Alex is not hurt. Purely from Coach's answer and from Will's answer, he's been outperforming Alex in practice.
I'm gonna go ahead, Christina.
I'm just gonna say, I love. I think Shake's his personality, his positivity, his energy is, I think, something that the team really needs a lot of right now. So good for Shakes. I really hope to see Alex get that record, though.
I don't disagree. I certainly think he's going to get the opportunity. And if these last two matches are any indication, I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later that he gets back out there. And that's not a knocking at Shakes, because this defense has been struggling over the past several weeks.
And that's being kind.
And that is being very kind. And we've questioned the decision.
To be fair, I don't think the defense was terrible against Vegas.
No.
I think a header against a 6'5" guy when our tallest guy is like 6'1" is always going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with a well-placed ball in. And then we'll get to the game, obviously, but I think the other one was either possibly a mistake by one person or a foul that wasn't called, one or the other, however you want to look at it. But overall, the defense was much better. And yes, I'm going to address this right now. Sorry, I'm going to get on the soapbox real quick. Yes, Vegas is in last place in the West. They are currently only 6 points out of the playoffs. And let's see. They are, 3 points behind Monterey Bay, who was at the top of the West for a lot of the first part of the season. So there's very little difference between top and bottom in the West. Like I said in the chat or on Facebook, other than Lou City and Charleston, I think those teams you kind of expect to win every time they go play. The rest of the league is kind of a coin flip. Not a 50-50 coin flip necessarily, but I'm not surprised if anybody beats anybody. We saw Vegas draw with San Antonio the week before they drew with us. And so they're not schmucks. They're not Vegas of 2 years ago, and they're not Miami of last year. They're not teams that are just like laughing stocks. I don't think there's a team that is a laughing stock this year. And when you look at their attacking talent, even with guys like Valentin Noel transferred out, they still have Johnny Rodriguez. They still have a handful of players that are, I don't know why my phone's so busy tonight, but a handful of players that are dangerous in the attack. And our defense, with the changes that were made, held up, in my opinion. But we'll talk more about that later, I'm sure.
Yep, that we will. But yeah, it's, you can't put it all on Shakes, obviously not. And then some of the, and we've talked about last week, especially that fifth goal was just the really bad deflection. Nothing he can do about that. Can't put it all on Shakes, right? But if he's outperforming Alex in training, and this is what coaches is seeing and putting out there, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing to give him opportunities.
No,
but again, but again, with all the change, and we've talked about the roster, and we'll talk about this lineup too here as well. I mean, it's gonna take something, right? Coming back, a new signing coming in, something, because you for a few weeks we had Jabang playing out of position basically, and because let's face it, yes, he played center back for Sanchez. He is not a natural center back.
Well, he played center back for an MLS club. In MLS matches before. So it's not his best position, but obviously there's some pedigree there that says he could have done it. It just didn't work for us. But when it comes to Shakes and Alex, we talked about it this offseason that we were almost kind of surprised that Alex even came back, because he's been in the league for a hell of a long time. He's at the point where we have seen a lot of other players retire already. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does that this offseason. And if he does, then we kind of need to see what Shakes can bring, right? And when you lose 4-0 to Hartford after a terrible run of form, and I'll shout out fellow fan and I'll say friend. We throw barbs at each other all the time, but Esteban Sena over in United Nation, he's been very against Alex from the get-go, essentially, not just this year. And one thing, like he's made some critiques about Alex that I don't agree with, but one that he does make that I can kind of see some credence to is Alex's attitude after giving up goals and when things aren't going his way. And things against Hartford were about 180 degrees from his way. So I'm curious to see, one, how he reacts to this, if with what you said, it not being an injury and it just being performance based, particularly in training. I'm very curious to see how he takes it. We will never know, really, like behind the scenes. But I do think that if he doesn't come back, then I'm not sure. I think if he doesn't come back and start again this season, I think that means he took it poorly. But if he does come back and he gets another start, then we'll see if he has his head in and isn't worried about getting benched. I don't know. It's an interesting thing. There are some people that are going to be very mad about it. Some people that are very mad about it already. I was busy on Facebook over the weekend, busier than I should have been. But there was a lot going on. There's a lot to talk about. And one of them was Alex not starting these last two matches and us speculating that it had to be a knock and then finding out, oh no, it's not a knock. That's very interesting. I'm okay with it personally. I know there's going to be some fans that aren't, but you're not going to make everybody happy. And we're not there day in and day out and practice in and practice out and in the locker room and everything like that. So who knows? Who knows?
And it's not like Chris is a poor keeper by any stretch of imagination. He played in the played in the Big Ten, Big East.
Yeah, he played for Penn State.
Like
So
Penn State,
I-
he was
I don't know the college line things anymore because they've changed so much, but he played for Penn State. So
right, but he was like he was all conference.
Mhm.
He was, he was a tremendous collegiate goalkeeper, so he
Mhm.
has the ability to do it. And so I think him having opportunities, and we saw it a few weeks ago too. He did really well, and not outside of these two starts, he did well. And throughout Battery last year, we know what happened with the Battery match last year, the flu game. Like Chris has not been bad. He really hasn't. I do think his performances have suffered because of the play in front of him. So so there's going to be some blame, both ways on those. But I mean, let's just get right into it. We'll talk about this Saturday's match. Let's pull this up, because when this lineup came out against Las Vegas, people were like, "What is this?"
and that's not the lineup that we saw, by the way.
No, it is not. This is the graphic that's on the broadcast, but this is not how it played. You had this got shuffled around. You had, Seymour and Lindsay as center backs, who had Zico and Gloucester as your left and right backs, and you have Jabang pushed up into the midfield. But it played so much better than what we've seen the past few weeks. And yeah, people were questioning what's going on here. Where is Maples? Where's Alex? What's going on? So we have the answers to those. Talon sitting out was a precaution because of a knock he did pick up. Alex obviously losing out the challenge from Shakes and the training this week. So it makes sense then, right? But yeah, obviously a lot of questions. What's going to happen with this 18? What is Sanchez doing? I saw someone say, "Oh, the Sanchez experiment has failed." Like, I don't know that I disagree with that, or that I don't know that I agree with that, because
I thought we were going to fight.
No,
I was ready.
No, I was
I've been fighting all weekend about that statement.
I don't know that I agree with that. You don't have a full season, and yes, you're going to have ups and downs, and yes, this is a poor stretch for whatever reason. And again, it comes down to United as a club has failed to play a full 90 minutes in any number of matches this season. I mean, maybe being on the road for a month was a big driving factor behind that, and maybe being back at the lab was huge. Was a huge deal for them. And yeah, Josh, we'll get to that here in just a little bit. But United gets out to a quick start here. Obviously, you see Vegas trying to press. And by the way, those kits of Vegas's are god awful.
I don't mind them.
They're like a salmon color. They are god awful. Those are terrible.
Yeah, they didn't even look better in person either.
No,
they were very mismatched, and I don't know.
Yeah,
we saw the Valentine goal. I just want to shout out if anybody watching saw the social media post, I want to shout out Christina for getting that video. I'm never set up there, so I would have never got that angle. It was perfect. And you film like everything. I don't have I get too into it sometimes, and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta get my phone out. But no, great shot by her. Great shot by Valentine.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting. I mean, it came out of nowhere, so I was lucky that I hadn't stopped filming when it was the throw-in.
Yeah,
I just kept filming. And
oh yeah, and this here, a big mistake by our Rosarena from the get-go here. You see him play the ball out. He's already 20, 22 yards out, and he's just not even trying to get back.
Can you go back a little bit there, Seth?
Yeah.
Just want to
point out. Yeah, so he's here.
Little miscommunication maybe between
him and Herbert.
Herbert. Cole's golden child, Anthony Herbert.
Yeah, and who was it? Justin saying saying that Shakes needs to sit back. Look where Rosarena is. Rosarena is 15 yards out, and Noel has nobody around him. this is such a huge mistake by Vegas here. Now, I mean, the shot by Valentine is just phenomenal. Like, and yeah, all credit to Christina on that video. Yeah, people loved it. You got some very nice compliments over on Reddit for capturing that moment, and just really great camera work by Christina. So thank you for that. Like, and far better than the broadcast camera work on this too, by the way.
Yeah, it was pure luck, because normally they
Right.
have the rails further forward towards the field, but for this match, for some reason, they were all the way up against the back wall. And so I was texting you guys like, hey, where should I stand? And then I just sort of settled on that side of the pitch, and not like a minute later, the
Yeah.
goal came.
It was very fast.
Why? So here, I'm going to back a step for just a second. You guys are talking over in the chat about 180. Why is everybody sitting?
It was quiet for 11,500 people. It felt pretty quiet there.
The Magic Minute was nice, but why are so many people sitting?
Well,
What's going on?
Curse.
Where are we at, Curse?
If you ask Justin, me and Justin have had conversations about this on and off all season. He's, I guess, all three capos are basically in front of 116 instead of 118.
Yeah,
and it's a problem. It's a problem. So
yeah, they're all right here. I don't think they can go over here anymore, though.
Yeah, I do think that could be part of it because of the goal being right there. But if that's the case, we need to figure something else out. But yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, all the capos stand here. I don't think they let them. I don't remember them letting them down here before. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, they're all here, and you've got all these people through the supporter section just sitting.
Well, and actually, so I have to look at it. Is 118 a ticket, a supporter ticket?
I think these are GA. I think these are general, but even here, like, a lot of people sitting. Like, if you're here, like, you really shouldn't be sitting either. But that's just me.
I think that
so okay, these are season 118, 116 are supporter
group ticket. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't know if that changed with the shift or not, or what happened there. But yeah, I wasn't sure if it was quiet or not. I was watching with low sound. Nothing in particular, no in particular reason. Just had a lot of chaos going on, and so I had it turned down a little bit. But yeah, it's disappointing for sure.
Now we need to get the soundboard operator cue up the Superman music. I mean, look at the extension on Chris here. The leap, the extension, and he did it later in the match too. Like, this is phenomenal goalkeeping by Chris Shakes here. And that was a heck of a shot. Was that Tony on that?
I don't think so.
It
Not on
was.
that one.
No, I think it was Tony. Shakes had a really good
it's
stop
by Pearson.
from Tony.
Okay, yeah,
It says Pearson.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a great job by Shakes there. But yeah, there's just like so many people sitting. Yeah, but yeah, and then, but I mean, there's a lot of good to take away. Obviously, United gets out on the front foot, and there's the goal by Tony there. Not a whole lot that Chris could do there. Header down into the ground, bouncing back up into the top of the net. No one in front of him. If you look back at that angle, there's no one in front of him. But
I think that it is hilarious to me that Noel and Herbert were the two first goal scorers for this match. And I think they both handled it relatively well. I mean, they definitely, we've seen lesser celebrations, but we've also seen more celebrations from others, and so it was interesting. I know for a fact that Herbert might have some ill will with parts of the club, but I know he still loves the fans. So I'm sure he was happy to score. But
on his Instagram posted a video of somebody captured of Pete walking into the stadium with Las Vegas, and he and Herbert were walking in together and smiling and laughing, and I thought, oh well, it's good to see at least
Oh.
some jovial interaction there.
Vegas was very late to the stadium.
Were
by
they?
the way. Yeah, they were very late to the stadium. The referees were
Pete
also
was out there like
very-
looking for them, like are they coming?
Yeah, they were just wide there. That would have been another great goal. But yeah, Vegas was actually very late. The referees were very late. But yeah, so you get to halftime, you pull Jabang, you get Maples on, and then 15 minutes in, Maples decides to mouth off to the referee and then commit a bad foul. We're not quite there yet, but yeah, I mean, this, again, some good things here. Another big save by Shakes right there. I really like watching him play. Like, his movement is good. He seems to have a good eye for where the ball's gonna be, and there's the foul. Now, 2 minutes before this, Talon commits a foul somewhere up here, and then starts to descent.
It wasn't even Talon that committed the foul up
No,
there.
it wasn't. No, it
It
wasn't.
was. I think it was Gloucester, and Talon just wouldn't shut up about it. Which, I mean, when I think about it, I look at Talon. I believe this is probably the first important match he's missed any time in since he came to New Mexico United. He's basically played every minute of every match since he joined. So he's got to be frustrated about that and missing the start. And then he's got to be frustrated with how the last 2 months really have gone. And then I don't mind him going in on this tackle. It's an inch away from not being a foul, in my opinion. He gets to the ball first, but he goes over the top of the ball. If his foot's down an inch and he gets the ball, I don't think it's a foul. I question whether it's a foul anyways, but
I'm
maybe
not
a foul.
I'm not convinced he gets him.
Yeah, I don't think he does either. And if it is a foul, it might be a foul. I don't see the yellow card, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, it's a yellow because it's a
Cleats, yeah, studs up.
yeah. So yeah, that's at minimum a yellow. So, but yeah, you know you're on a yellow. Like, you have to be a little bit better with how you treat the moment and how you react, and like, it's just silly. It's just silly. The referee, I will say, things started to get a little out of hand in the second half. And I know some people said that there's a select word that you can't do. Like,
Harry, hold on. Harry says it was a clear red ball or clear red card. Is that kind of like how Wehan's was a clear handball?
No, I don't know. I agree with Harry. I mean, with the studs up, sitting on a yellow, you're getting the red.
You get a second yellow.
Well, which is what he got, right? It wasn't a straight red.
No, it was a second.
It was an accumulation. Yeah,
I don't even know if I don't know. We're whatever.
Yeah, again, like, I'm not convinced that he actually got him. Like, there's not a clear angle. Yes, it was a dangerous tackle. But I'm not convinced that he actually got him.
Well, maybe it's just divine intervention that Maples just needs the rest.
Yeah, I don't think he did. So it could be.
It was the soccer gods intervening and saying, "Hey, he was supposed to sit this one out, so we're going to make him sit out the next one." A really bad one to have to sit out, though.
Yeah. So see here, yeah, it goes over. It looks to me like Talon misses with his right foot, the studs up. He misses with the studs up, and then maybe the trailing foot leg is where he catches him, which is not a clear red card. But if you get him studs up, then absolutely. But it's minimum a yellow. It's just a really poor decision, really poor timing. He should have done better. That's all it is. And yeah, now we're not gonna have Talon against Lou City, and the club has the opportunity to appeal it, but I don't think they will, because again, he shouldn't have done it. And I think you got a foul here that doesn't get called.
I would agree.
I don't, but yeah,
it's either a foul or Gloucester tries to draw the foul, which also drives me nuts with Gloucester a lot of times. But it was definitely a deflating moment for sure.
Yeah, that it was, and it doesn't go back far enough.
It is a beautiful ball.
Oh, it is, without a doubt. It's soft. That's soft. But I do
Is that
think
Gloucester or Lindsay?
It's Gloucester. Gloucester plays on the left.
Isn't that Gloucester jogging in the? Yeah, that one. Isn't that Gloucester?
that one.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
it is. Maybe it is Lindsay then.
I don't know. I mean, that's a tough. I do think it is a foul. Do I think it's actually a hard foul? No, but it's offensive player coming in. You look at that as a charge, but I can understand why they didn't call it, but I think it's the wrong call. And I like the play by Zico to try to get in front and slow him down, but just the where that ball was at and the stumble by Zico getting him out of position. And I think you can't fault Chris here either. I think Chris makes the right decision. But
Yeah, it is what it is.
yeah. But again, here it's you have another match where United spends 45, 60 minutes not really pushing the issue. But the final 15 minutes of the second half, United just goes into another gear again. And you're not going to outrun a team like Vegas. You're just not. But the amount of effort in this play here by Zico, the touch and then the shot, like you can't complain about that. Down a man, you get a goal, you've got a little bit of time left to try to get a winner, but and then Tony obviously makes a meal of that one.
Mm-hmm. Thank goodness.
But yeah, I mean, not a great night for Rosarena. He was fine, not great. But again, why do we wait till the final 15 minutes? Why? Do we think that we've outrun people at that point? Do we think that we're going to suddenly, come up with 2 to 3 goals at the end of the final 15 minutes every single match?
It's perplexing. I think, last year we just got really used to, Noel's seemed pretty frustrated.
Yeah.
That was a perfect highlight of how there was a couple of times on Saturday where you could see him being like frustrated that the other guys are not playing with intensity.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Oh, I don't disagree. And for people that don't know, Noel was subbed out at halftime. That was precaution. Noel did feel a twinge of something. Coach didn't elaborate as to what it was, but Noel felt the twinge. So pulling him at halftime was a precaution. That was a question I saw multiple places. Why did Noel come out? Because they don't tell us why. It's just talking to coach. But yeah, I mean, Jacob, do you think there's a lack of effort from individual players? Do you think it's just a lack of energy? Do you think it's a lack of confidence? I mean, I know that was something that was talked about as well as, you don't want anyone to be losing confidence in the way that they're playing, but when you're constantly behind or giving up goals, and falling behind, like losing leads, it does tend to eat away. Like, where are we struggling? Is it a mental thing at this point?
Look, the team, we've seen several iterations of the team, not because coach is tweaking, but because of injuries, transfers, stuff like that. It's kind of, things kind of snowball. There are some people that don't believe in momentum. I definitely believe in momentum, and we're starting with 0 momentum right now, and we're trying to build momentum. And when you start getting negative momentum going, like we have the last couple months, it's really hard to kick out of that. And I think we're finally seeing, earlier in the year, we talked about growing pains with a different coach and a largely different roster coming in, and we were able to kind of stem the tide in the earlier part of the year. And I think, some of those issues that we thought we might have with these changes are kind of coming home to roost right now. And they're compounded by the injuries that we're having, especially on the back line and the lack of depth that we have back there, which we called out at the beginning of the season. And we were hoping that it wasn't going to come into play, but then Ryden goes down, Herbert and whatever happened there. And now Maples is kind of banged up and we didn't have anybody else. It's kind of all meshing into one. As far as the last 15 minutes, look, that's desperation at the end of a match that you're losing. I've watched enough soccer the last 7 years to know that you can't play like that all 90 minutes. It's not physically possible to be that level. You can show more than we've shown, but you can't be balls to the wall like we have been in the past, or like we have been these last few games when we're losing late and it's tight, because one, your energy level can't sustain that for 90 minutes. And two, if you play that reckless, you're going to get burned and you kind of have nothing. If you're down by 1, in my opinion, you might as well be down by 4. So you push to get that second goal to tie it, or that next goal to tie it, with knowing full well that you could give up another one. But at this point in the match, it doesn't matter. If you give up another one, then you lose. If you sit back and play how we play for the first 70 minutes, then you're going to lose because you're not attacking enough. So I don't look at that last 15 minutes of these matches that we're losing that are close and go, why can't we do that for 90 minutes? I do look at it and say, hey, like, instead of saving all that for the last 15 minutes and being down, why not give like an extra 10% throughout the match, so that we are not in that position where we have to give 110% at the end of a match. And I really do think that it's growing pains from the changes, mixed with injuries, mixed with, I don't know if you've had like 2 or 3 bad days in a row, but you have 2 or 3 bad days in a row in like our day-to-day lives. And it takes something special to get you out of it. And I really do think that we are one positive result, one win, one solid performance, and 3 points away from figuring this thing out and turning it around. It's just we're getting buried by our own negative attitudes right now. I liked a lot of what I saw in this Vegas match. I personally think the backline changes worked pretty well. I'm not a big fan of Seymour at center back when we look at previous year examples of that. But I think the few times that he's played it this year, he's looked pretty solid. And I really liked Bailey out on the right, honestly, especially when we were in possession. So I'm not on this Vegas or this Sanchez out bandwagon right now, but it's real easy to look at this club and be upset. I mean, I'm upset. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've been upset multiple times this last 2 months, but I've been rewatching that, by the way. It's fantastic.
Season 4.
Yeah. I started on season 1. I went through 9 episodes of season 1 last week in one day. It was not healthy, but anyways, I digress. To me, we are not at the level that Lou City and Charleston are. We all kind of admitted that before the season. And unless you're Lou City and Charleston, you're going to have periods of the time where you have a run of bad form like this, especially when you have a lot of changes. And I'm not saying that it's going to be all rainbows and sunshine come the end of the season, I'm just not ready to be like, it's over, we suck, wholesale changes and all that when we're, what are we, 18, 19, 20, 21 matches into Sanchez's career with New Mexico United. That seems awfully short-sighted. And when you see, like, to cross-compare with other sports, when you see other sports teams cycle managers so quickly, they usually are never very good for a multitude of reasons. I would much rather go the route of, hey, let's give this guy a fair shake. Let's give him a year to see what he can do, an offseason to see what he can do with the roster, along with Itamar. And then if we're sitting here at this point next year and it's the same thing, or even earlier in this point or earlier in the season next year, like 10, 12 matches in, and we're still seeing the same thing, then you can consider it. But you start firing guys after 21 matches and nobody's going to want to come here. And so there's a fine line between, Jerry Jones keeping McCarthy for multiple years after he shouldn't have, and axing somebody after not having a fair shake. And so I'm not saying sign him to 5 years and hold out for those 5 years, but you got to give him a little more time, especially when you look at the roster that we had coming into the year and how it was. He had some input in it, but not a lot. And then with the injuries that we've had, like, you gotta let him figure this shit out. And it is what it is. I don't know. There's plenty of people out there that disagree with me, and to each their own. Maybe we can get. Cole said he wanted to come on the pod and argue with us. He didn't say that. Let me rephrase it. Cole said he wanted to come on the pod to discuss it. And I would love for that to happen. It can't happen this week, obviously, because we just started, and next week we are having a special guest, so it won't be. That's not Cole, so it won't be Cole next week either. But maybe the week
That's because Cole's not special.
Oh, Cole's very special. Love you, Cole. Yeah, I met him for the first time in person in Los Angeles last year when I met Christina for the first time in person.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a good time. I bought him a drink as well. But yeah, it's Justin, don't it's, I believe we said it too. Like, if we get a good run of form, all those people will suddenly, no, I think it was either me and Josh or me and Christian. He said, it's funny how when we find a good run of form, all those negative Nancys lose their phone somehow.
Yeah.
And don't know how to comment or post anything. And so, yeah, it's rough, but I'm assuming you guys are on the same page as me, which is kind of a bummer because it does make for better podcasting when we can argue like we did a couple weeks ago, Seth. But like, none of you are Sanchez out like hard right now, right?
No.
Christina had a look on her face like maybe, and I was like, yeah, let's get it, Christina.
I question if he's lost the locker room.
I
but I'm by no means like Sanchez out. It's not that. It's just, is the season salvageable? Has he lost the locker room? Are they bringing in more players? Like, it just feels like a lot of yuck right now.
Well, and that's been part of the question too, is, where is the locker room at with this? Why did Tony want to leave? Now with McKenzie, I can see it. He wasn't getting anywhere near as much playing time as we all thought he would get.
Let's not say that they wanted to leave. We don't know officially. We haven't talked to them, but they definitely probably weren't happy here. It's seeming like, anyways.
Yeah. No, the only thing is, I'm just saying, I didn't mean it like they wanted out, but like, when you see those two moves and the timing of it,
actually what I heard, McKenzie was pretty mad that he was leaving.
It's entirely possible, maybe they didn't want to go, but it's one of those things where
you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like, it would suck if he wanted to leave, but it sucks that he didn't want to leave and he had
Yeah.
to leave. Like it's a lose-lose. Like, it- uh,
Well, and it's like I said, it was something that came up. People questioning whether or not player again had Sanchez lost the locker room. This is one of the names that came up. Maybe he did want to leave because there was something there. Maybe that Tony wanted to leave because of it. I mean, but really, McKenzie hasn't played a whole lot since he left.
This was his first match.
Yeah, it's his first match. Tony's
First
played, I think, in
appearance.
both.
Yeah, Tony
Um,
started, I think, every match.
he
since
started,
left.
yeah.
So maybe it was a playing time thing. I mean, I thought McKenzie would certainly get more time. And what I saw of him, he was growing in his matches. He's gone, the opposite way of Gideon Zelalem, who has completely fallen off the fucking map. Pardon my French. Zelalem has not been good over the past few weeks, but I would have loved to see more of McKenzie personally.
To me, what happened with McKenzie is Fernando and Akali outplayed him.
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree.
As far as in the matches, we don't get to see training, but a couple times. I don't think the weekly press conferences have any training aspect to them, do they?
If you're there, you can see some of it.
See some of it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So thanks, Josh. Damn it, Josh.
I was staring at those too.
Yeah, they're pretty nice looking. Couple things. One, we don't see training, so Akali in the matches, even the matches that McKenzie played in earlier in the season, he wasn't a factor. And then Fernando comes in and is immediately a factor, and Akali is always a factor. And so, I mean, it's not coach's fault. It's not necessarily McKenzie's fault unless it was an effort issue. He was just getting outplayed, and that's why he wasn't getting the minutes. And so it sucks. I was really high on McKenzie, and I really wanted him to do well and thought he would. But I don't feel like Sanchez has lost the locker room, because I feel like if Sanchez had lost the locker room, you go down a goal after going down a man, and you don't fight like that. You still fight because you have personal pride, but what we saw, and then what we saw after we drew or tied it up, that emotion, that doesn't come from a group that I feel like doesn't have, where he doesn't have the locker room. And when I look at the roster right now, guys like Seymour, guys like Hurst, guys like Maples, guys like Bailey are all consummate professionals that I don't think would ever quit on a coach. And then you look at the rest of the roster, and it's Jabang, Noel, and these other guys that I think have strong ties to Sanchez, and so they're not going to quit on him, especially like Valentin having just come in. And so I don't think it's that. I think it's kind of the dog days of summer, and we're in a rough patch. But I wouldn't be surprised if we come out and look better even than this match next week, even though it's a tougher opponent. Now, playing better this coming week might mean you lose 2-0, but because it's Lou City and we're playing in Lou City. But I don't know. I think that there's still something there that can be salvageable. And when you look at the standings, we're our match in hand away from being in. It was second place. I don't think it's second place anymore. Let me keep back over here to the thing. Yeah, we win and we're in third place if we win that match in hand, unless Orange County wins their match in hand too. So we're right there, and if we win that match in hand, we're 2 points behind Sacramento for second place. And so the season is by far not lost as far as on paper, and I have to believe that the players, even if it's a group playing for themselves, like Justin says, that they have to realize that we have a chance to go out and still make a statement and still do something and still perform. And even if it's all for, or one for all, or one for themselves, that we'll still see some kind of fight.
To your point about Valentine is a Sanchez guy. This is the third stop that they've shared, so they have a history. Yeah, coach gave us that on Saturday as well. This is the third time that they've worked together. So, I mean, Valentine, he's a Sanchez guy. Sanchez is very, very high on Valentine, and obviously they know how to work. And 2 goals in 4 weeks for Valentine since he's come in. So, it's Sanchez knows how to work with him. Sanchez knows how to use him. So that's something to look forward to. And yeah, I don't think they've quit. I don't think anyone's quit. I mean, I think there's you may have some people who are disappointed with their situation within the club, but you're going to have that happen no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be some sort of, I should be getting more minutes, or, I should be starting, this position, or whatever the case is. But, this is a game where coach is going to play the best 11 week in, week out. So, but yeah, I mean, speaking of best 11, who is that best 11 against Lou City? Do we see Kalen Ryden come back? I mean, Lou City sitting on 47 points, nearly doubled our point total as it stands right now. It's on the road at Lou City. We've never done particularly well against Lou City, so this is going to be a very tough matchup. Justin says he wants to see Among, Jacob, who needs to be in the 11 on Saturday in order for us to have a shot at winning this one?
If Ryden is 100%, then Ryden is our best option at center back, or is the best option available since Maples isn't available. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was if Ryden's healthy, I think it's Ryden and Lindsay. I think you have to have at least somebody with pace back there. And Lindsay isn't the fastest, and he doesn't always seem like he's running the hardest, but he's younger and more spry than Seymour. And I think a Ryden Seymour center back duo against this Lou City attack could be problems. Especially, we saw Lou City come in last year to the lab, and they very much gave us the ball and said, okay, do what you do, have possession without any purpose, and we're going to get one chance and we're going to capitalize on it because we've got lethal finishers and some speed. And I think if that's how this one plays out, it could be Hartford all over again if we aren't more careful with the ball. But I think the back line looks very similar to what it did Saturday against Vegas. Maybe Ryden in for Seymour, and maybe you bump Seymour to back out to left or right back. And then that can move Bailey in the middle. And then you've got a midfield of, I would love to see Jabang, Bailey, and Vargas. And then up top / on the wings, you've got Noel and Akale for sure. And then that 9 position, man, I don't know. I have really liked what I've seen from Among lately. I liked what I saw from Hurst, though, in his last 135 minutes, the match and a half that he's done. And so it's hard to say. I think when you look at what Among does best, he's more physical. They're both pretty good finishers at this point, I think. So maybe you go give 145 and give Among 45, see what he can do, and then bring in Hurst for 45. I liked both of them being on the pitch at the same time last week. But then who do you take off? That's the problem. I think Valentine, Akale, and Vargas are almost must starts. So unless you switch to like a 4-4-2 and have Akale and Valentine on the wings, and then Among and Hurst up top, and then Vargas and Jabang, or Vargas and Bailey. I think if Ryden doesn't play and you've got to play Bailey on the right again, then I wouldn't be opposed to having Jabang and Vargas in the middle of a 4-4-2, and then Hurst and Among up top, even with this vaunted Lou City attack. And so I don't envy Sanchez because no matter what he decides to do, somebody's going to be upset about it. And if whatever he decides to do, if it doesn't work, which let's be honest, it's on the road at Lou City and we're a struggling team and they've put up 4 goals in the last 3 matches each, I think. So it could be ugly, but I don't know.
Yeah, one of the things that I got asked by someone else in the press box on Saturday was about the play of Greg Hurst and why Greg wasn't, turning and running towards goal. I said, well, that's not the type of player that Greg is. He's not, unless you get him in space and play the ball in behind, you're not going to get him on a run like that. Greg is very good with hold up. And I think, Jacob, to your point, if you did a 4-4-2, something of that nature, who do you put underneath him? Because if you watch Greg Hurst hold up play on Saturday, he did a pretty good job of gathering the ball.
He's always done good with hold up.
Yeah. And so I was explaining this to someone else and they're like, oh, okay. Well, I said, but yeah, like obviously we've seen times where he's played into space and that works, but he's not somebody you're going to play the ball into him. He's going to turn on a dime with the defender at his back and outrun them. That's just not who he is.
Yeah. So
you've got to have someone underneath him that he can play that ball, 1-2 or out wide with. And, I know it's hard to, I know we like seeing Hurst and Among on the pitch at the same time, but I like Vargas underneath more.
Well, yeah, that's what you have.
Yeah.
You have Among and Hurst up here, and then you have Vargas and Jabang kind of playing like this. And then in my head, how it would work is Hurst comes back to get the ball, lays it off to Bailey, Vargas, and then Vargas sprays it forward to Among.
Yeah.
To Among and the wingers, which in my case would be Valentin and Akale. And then you have this 3-pronged attack plus Hurst and Vargas trailing on quick breakout scenarios, like quick turnover scenarios. And so, yeah, I think Among and Hurst up top, and then Vargas playing underneath them. And you can do a multitude of different things there. Because Among's pretty good at hold-up play too.
Yeah.
But he also adds that. I think if you're like grading things on a 1 to 10 scale, like Hurst hold-up play, not compared to the best players in the world, but compared to Among, is like an 8, and Among's like a 6. But the turn and attack, Among's like a 8, and Hurst is like a 6. So they're the same overall rating. They just have different strengths.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I've never played soccer, as we've established multiple times on this podcast, but it seems to me like we've got the talent and the guys that could switch positions if they wanted to, or switch formations, if coach wanted to. But I'm just not sure that that's what's going to happen yet. At least to start a match, we've been locked into this kind of 4-2-3-1 position or formation for a while now. It doesn't seem like that's going to change. And if it was going to change, I think last week would have been the week to change it, and we still didn't see it. So who knows? Maybe if Ryden and them if Ryden and Maples aren't really fully, if Maples is out and Ryden can't play 90 minutes or 70 minutes or 60 minutes even, then maybe we have to see that out of desperation. But I don't know. Just seems like a change could be beneficial. But also, like I said, I think we're right there trying to turn a corner. And if we change it up now, maybe we'll lose a little bit of style or momentum anything that we were gaining going into this Lou City match. I don't know. But at the same time, sorry, I'm talking myself in circles. But if you come out and you play the same exact way and Lou City trounces you 5-0, then you don't have any momentum anyways. And so,
yeah,
I don't know. It's not a fun position to be in for any of us right now. So,
yeah. So Vin, to your point about Zico. So Zico is naturally central mid or a right back. He played that role quite well, both for us and San Antonio. I think the issue is that because we've had some inconsistent play, particularly at the center back role over the past several weeks. We've seen our rotations lacking. I think that's what's causing the problem more so than Zico being any sort of like not comfortable out there.
Well, even before Zico played right back last week, the Hartford match, no, the Tulsa match, Gloucester and Lindsay were playing as right and left back, and they were narrow.
Yeah.
Narrow. A lot of it. So Zico drifting inside, I think, is part of the game plan when it comes to how Sanchez wants his right and left back to play when we're in possession. And so I don't know how much of it was Zico doing that because he was uncomfortable and that just being what he's supposed to be and where he's supposed to be in that scenario. I thought it looked fantastic at times, especially in possession. But
it did. It reminded me of Brucey back in like 2019.
Yeah. But at the same time, because that's how we've liked to play, that has led us to be a little susceptible to counterattacks a la Hartford and Tulsa. And so, especially when we turn the ball over in bad spots.
Yep.
It's one thing if we've got the ball deep and we turn it over in our own 18 and everybody kind of has a chance to get back. But when you turn it over anywhere in that middle third and give that opposing team a chance to break quickly, then we're in a lot of trouble.
I don't disagree with that one bit. Christina, for you, has Shakes done enough to earn another start against Lou City, or do you think that this is again going to come down to whatever coach figures out during the week? And is there a chance we see Alex?
I think I'm happy to feel like I see Shakes out there and I'm not like, ooh, not good. I think he's done well with what he's, what's getting thrown at him. But like we've said, we're not at training, so don't know what it's looking like. Hopefully it just means that it's motivating both of them to really have a lot of intensity and drive. And I'm glad that Alex isn't hurt. Hopefully his ego isn't hurt either. And hopefully it's a positive thing. And I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see who's playing.
What do you think would benefit, if it is Shakes who gets the nod this week, what do you think would benefit him the most in terms of how United needs to set up? Do you think we need to, do you think it's the return of a Kalen Ryden? Do you think it's playing more narrow and forcing Lou City outside? What do you think is going to best suit Shakes if he is the guy that gets the nod?
It's felt just super leaky back there and set pieces too. The defending on set pieces has been really challenging. And I don't know that that's a strong suit for him. Being able to, he's gotten to the ball, but he's pretty short. And so his reach can be really challenging. So shoring up the back line, plugging up those leaks, that could be a Kalen return. We've been kind of holding our breath and hoping he's going to get some minutes again any day now, right?
Yep.
Or was it September?
We're right at the 2-month time frame that they said he'd be back. So,
and with Maples now not being able to play, I don't know. I'm nervous for whoever ends up being in goal because I'm nervous how that back line's going to look.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think if it is Shakes, I would hope that Ryden's back. I said we're nearing the 2 months that the club stated he would be out for. We know he's been in training, so there's always a chance that we do see Kalen. And I think that's the veteran mindset and leadership capabilities that Kalen brings to the pitch. I think will really help settle that back and really be someone that benefits Shakes as he's still a young guy. He's still learning the game and learning, positioning and reading the pitch. And because this is far different from playing collegiate soccer. So I think that's the big thing. if Shakes is between the sticks. If it is Alex, I mean, obviously, again, Kalen's going to be a big factor, but I think, I think this is, if it's Alex, I think he's used to this moment against a club like Lou City. And again, it's going to be a learning opportunity for Chris to be in a moment where you're playing against a club that is, at least on paper and results wise, that much better than you. So I think I think Shakes has done enough. I think Shakes gets another shot. I would love to see it.
I've got a question for you if that's the case. So if Shakes is there, Maples is out. So Tambakis out, Maples out. If Amon gets the start, like Justin wants, and Ryden can't come or isn't quite ready, who is the captain?
Who was the captain
Will.
on Saturday?
Hurst was the captain.
Hurst was the
until
captain
Maples came on, and then Maples came on, and he got the captain armband for 10 minutes, and then he gave it back to Hurst.
I think it's Will. Will's worn the armband before.
Yeah, he has.
If Hurst,
center back.
Yeah, if Hurst isn't on the pitch, I think it's Will.
That was my thought as well, because assuming if Ryden can't go either, then Will's got to be a center back. That makes the most logical sense to me. Justin says Akale. That's an interesting idea. I feel like my captain has to be a little bit taller than 5 foot, whatever. I'm just kidding. I love Akale, and that's a possibility. I've always looked at a captain as somebody that, obviously Hurst is playing up top, so that this doesn't fit Hurst, but I prefer my captains to be, either defensive mids or center backs, so they kind of have everything laid out in front of them. They kind of get a better feel for everything that's going on. But I think Seymour is probably the best option. Bailey possibly. I wouldn't be upset with Bailey at all. And then maybe Akale, but I think Bailey or Seymour would be who it's going to be. I was thinking about that and was like, well, if Hurst doesn't get to start and Ryden can't go, and it's Shakes again, then all the people that we've seen be captains so far this year are out. So it would have to be a new captain, which would be interesting.
Yeah, like I said, I think it'd be Will. He's won the armband before. I don't think he's done it. I don't think he's done it in league play, but that's simply because we've had Talon or Kalen.
Yeah.
I know he's done it.
Just goes to show how wonky our lineup is right now.
Yeah, super, super crazy.
We don't even know who's going to be captain.
Yep. So yeah, I mean and then you have to get forward against Lou City. You have to take advantage of the few chances that they give you, because we're not going to get many. We're going to have to force our way in. So
you have to shoot. You can't score if you don't shoot. And they still are not really doing that.
Yeah.
This is where we can maybe argue a little bit for the first time all night. We've seen them shoot from out. When I have seen them shoot from outside lately, when we're in possession, when it's not like Valentin's goal, where it's kind of in a chaotic moment, but if we're trying to break them down and then we have the ball at the top of the box and everybody's yelling shoot and we've shot, it very rarely makes it past the defenders unless it's over the goal, because of how tight
hits bodies.
Yeah, how tight everything is playing. Now, I get that can lead to some nasty deflections, which could lead to some goals. So I'm not necessarily opposed to shooting a little more often, but I understand why they don't when it is constantly so congested at the 18-yard box. Maybe we could do some things to kind of free that up, maybe spread out a little more, play a little wider, and attack from the wider areas kind of into the middle quickly, instead of playing kind of tiki-taka right in the middle of the pitch and then trying to shoot because everything's already right there still. But the blind shoot more narrative doesn't hold water for me.
I wouldn't characterize it as a blind shoot more. I think that they're like possession without purpose.
Yeah.
And when they shoot from outside the box, they're right like dead square center in
Right.
front of the goal, which is going to be congested. Like
Right.
they've got to be like when Noel has shot from outside, it's from a wider
been- yeah.
angle.
Mhm.
When he scored on Saturday and shot from the outside, it was from the sideline.
Right.
I mean, they need to spread out more, and they need to actually like be pelting the goal with purposeful shots, intentional shots, rather than trying to like work it, and then lose the ball. Or work it, get to like dead center, and then shoot the ball into a sea of other players.
Yeah.
Valentine, by the way, up for goal of the week. Go vote early and often if you haven't done so already. Yeah, go vote
I
for that
think
one.
Josh, what Josh says, stop passing the ball 3 to 5 times within the box. I want to see, I think, more selfishness. I want to see like an attacking mindset from our
Decisiveness.
attackers.
Yeah.
Yeah, decisiveness and like a hunger, like a for scoring some goals rather than making the extra pass.
Yeah, and that's something. And I know Quelle is sort of guilty of it quite a bit. Taking too many touches instead of making a decisive pass or taking a shot or whatever. But yeah, you have to take those opportunities, and you can't pass them against any club, but especially Lou City when you're going to get so few chances anyway. Maybe it opens them up a little bit. Maybe you get a goal that you wouldn't normally get. Put a little bit of pressure on them, and maybe something comes of it. So, all right, score predictions for Saturday.
I do not think we're going to win. Nor do I think we're going to tie. I think if I would be thrilled if we got out of there with a point. I think I don't know. I don't know. Come back to me.
So Lou City has scored 4 times in 4 of their last 6 real matches. They had 2 friendlies in that time frame as well, but in their last competitive matches, they have scored 4 goals 4 times in their last 6 matches. And I think that continues. But I'll be damned if I'm going to say we're going to lose. So 4-4 draw.
4-4 draw.
4-4 draw.
Good Lord. Lou City's defense is that bad?
No, they're not.
Because at this point, we could barely buy a goal.
Something's going to happen. 4-4 draw. If it happens, I will. You guys better be talking me up.
If you correctly predict a 4-4 draw for us on the road, by all means, yeah, you'll get all the credit next week. Yeah, I don't feel good about it. I feel better after Saturday. I think again, you have to show not the final 15 minutes effort for 90 minutes. Again, like I said, you can't physically do that, but we have to be better over the course. We have to be more consistent over the course of 90 minutes. 3-1 Lou City.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I feel like, last pod we said that Saturday's match was like a do or die kind of thing. Like it was like dire. And the fact that there was almost 12,000 people in that stadium and it was like so quiet. They didn't really have the fans behind them. They didn't have the intensity maintained throughout the entirety of the match. Like if they're not going to do it at home after being gone for so long with almost 12,000 fans there, what makes us think that they're going to do it in Lou City?
I
That's how I'm
think I will play devil's advocate there. I think they are more likely to do it in Loose City in that scenario for two reasons. One, we talked about this a lot, Christina, in years 1 and 2. It felt like under Quill or under Lesane and Prince that United playing at home almost felt like they had too much pressure on them and they played very tight because they were trying to outdo themselves for this fan base that's very rabid. And so I think when you're in a terrible run of form like we were and you're coming home, it can almost be harder to break out of that slump at home than on the road. And you mentioned it was quiet there. And if it's quiet there and you're not used to that because you're used to the players having your back or the fans having your back and going crazy, and you know you're having a bad run of form and then the stadium is not normally quiet, you can tighten up and you can question things. You can have second thoughts that you normally wouldn't have in that stadium. And so I think going to Loose, and you're playing your coach's old club, Valentine's old club, Jabang's old club, a club that on paper, for whatever that means, you should beat. The pressure's all on you. Now going to Loose City, you don't have the pressure of showing out for the fans in person anyways. You're expected to lose. I think if you polled fans that at least semi-follow the league of New Mexico United, none of them are going to, like the posts that we've seen the last 2 of the last 3 weeks of, oh my gosh, we lost to a last place team. Oh my gosh, we drew against the last place team at home. You're not going to see that if we go out and lose to Loose City. Everybody's expecting that. And so you kind of have that weight off and you can just go play free. And so it's not, Loose City is going to be a giant challenge no matter what, because it's Loose City and because it's in Loose City. But to say, well, if they couldn't do it here against Vegas, then why can't they do it there? Chances are we're probably not going to. But the counter argument for that is they don't have the pressure. They're not expected to win. It's not a game that on paper they should win. They're the underdog. They can kind of go in and play more free and just see what happens instead of kind of,
Fair enough. Well, then I'll change my prediction
No.
to 1 loss.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
It won't be so bad.
Alrighty. Well, I think that's going to just about do it for us. Any final thoughts? Oh, one thing we didn't mention, it was Chris Weehan Appreciation Night. It was Jacob. I don't know if they showed it on the broadcast.
They showed highlights, but they talked over it. So they really didn't, I couldn't hear what was going on.
Okay. Yeah. So at halftime, Bees and his wife and their kid came out on the pitch. Former teammates were out there, played a video up on
Ford
the video
Parker
board.
out there.
Yeah, Ford was
there.
Sandoval.
Brucey, yeah.
Brucey's not a former player. All Brucey is a player.
Former teammate.
He was out there with his knee brace.
Yeah. Video on the video board. They had video messages from Troy, from Justin.
Oh, cool.
So and Jeremy Fishbein was on there as well.
Cool.
I had
And
Joe
Cody, right?
Cody was on there. Yeah, Cody also. But yeah, Joe was sitting next to me in the booth. He goes, "Do you know who that was?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's Coach Fish." Like, he goes, "They should have put video. They should put subtitles on this stuff so they know who there's up there." I'm like,
or just follow the damn club, Joe.
Or just follow the club. But I mean, to be fair, like if you didn't follow UNM soccer, you probably wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know who Fishbomb was.
You wouldn't know who Coach Fish is, but no, it was very cool, a very good moment for Bees and his family.
So how did Schmitty look?
He looked good.
He wasn't there. Oh,
he wasn't there in person. He wasn't there.
The video board.
Oh,
he looked good. Yeah,
I miss Schmitty, man. Well, good. I'm glad that I know when he left, it was kind of, I don't know. So I'm glad they did that. I'm glad him and his wife and family came and had a good time. And I obviously he was beloved by a lot of teammates and stuff. I knew that before hearing about any of that. So good for him. I wonder what he thought about it. Well, I know he put out a thing on Instagram today, and probably YouTube because he's been on that. But well, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, he so Ron and Pete both talked, and then Bees said a few words during halftime as well. And yeah, just again, really good moment. Would love to hear more from him, in the future, and hopefully, hopefully his experience, with the soccer academy, turns into something more in the future for him. So, but yeah, no, he will forever be a New Mexico United legend. He will forever live in the rent-free in the minds of San Antonio fans.
Yeah, we heard from Harry today that San Antonio fans still talk about the handball that wasn't.
Yes, exactly. So, but yeah, other than that, any closing thoughts, guys? All right, well, Jacob, want to get us out of here?
Sure. I don't know. It's a weird time in New Mexico United fandom, but I'm still here. I'm glad to see Jane and Josh and Justin and Van, and I think that was about it tonight, if I'm not mistaken. But good to see all y'all in the chat. As I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, hopefully we talk about 3 points next week, but none of us really predicted that. None of us predicted that at all, which has got to be probably a first for this this threesome for sure. So I'm looking forward to next week. We do have a special guest next week, like I mentioned. So even if we lose, we still have a reason for you to tune in and watch and listen. If you're listening on podcast player of your choice at a later date, please rate and review. Otherwise, I don't know why you're doing it at this point. You should be in the chat, but I've got a crying baby, so I'm gonna wrap this up quick. We'll be back next week, Tuesday, 8:00, with a special guest, hopefully talking about 3 points. But if not, still tune in anyways, because it's us and you love us. But until then, love y'all. Somos Unidos.
Night.